Shadakaka, folks, I'm Johnny Long, and I'm not in the Hobo Depot at all. Where am I? I'm in front of the Hobo Depot. I'm in front of Hobo Depot, Shadakaka. All right, so today, man, it's like it's a great day to be here. I thank God for allowing me to stand in front of this camera today, freely as a free man, in spirit and in truth. All right, so look. So today we want to talk about. This has been on my heart like a couple days. All right, so if it's been a couple days, I should have done it a couple days ago, but I had to let it marinate. So today, what we looking at here? Let me slide over a little bit. What we looking at here? Oh, is Hootie. Everybody see Hootie? He got his Ken Smith on 5-string BT custom. That's an 80 something. He got an 80 something Ken Smith. He ain't got no mask on, but he got to do glasses. Look, he's a superstar. I'm just here. All right, so today we're going to talk about 3 glorified inventions, 3 of them, and 1 innovative thought. 1 innovative thought, 3 glorified inventions. Now, let's talk a little bit. Not much, though. But first, before we even get into that, let's just see how they sound. Okay, another thing I want to talk about, too, is this. You got a 1986, well, it's really 89, GK 400, still working. Hum a little bit, but still working. And then you got Aguilar GS 112. These are GS 112. All right, let's get back to the main ingredient. Look, I used to play for that group, the main ingredients. I used to play for them. All right, so we're going to plug them up. You don't mind, Hootie, excuse me. Thank you. What the? All right, so we're going to go from, we know that this bass was the first thing that came out. Not this particular style. It was the 51, stuff like that, had a different headstock. This is the Fender P bass. The man we're talking about today is Leo Fender, right? He had 3 glorified inventions and 1 innovative thought. He wanted to make a bass. The innovative thought was, I needed to make a bass, all right? How he got this shape, that shape, only God knows, all right? So here's a P bass. Got to make sure that it's tuned, because I got people with perfect pitch, and they do have perfect fits. Look, perfect fit with perfect pitch. See, that's off a little. The greatest thing about the Fender basses is that they're workhorses. A lot of people use them back in the day. I ain't got to call the names. You already know who the names are. You already know who the names were that use these basses, and you know what their purpose was. Like this is all bass. Okay, all treble. Okay, the P bass was the first thing that came out to innovate the thought of a player. Like, okay, I need something that's gonna be, pretty much stay in tune. Ain't gonna be weighing 200 pounds. Of course, the first P bass was very heavy. This one is very light. This is the Mocha. This is the Mocha P bass, and this is a 78. All right. So, to me, the Mocha, not particularly the Mocha, but the P bass itself has its own characteristic. How Leo thought of that, I don't know. If he was still living, we can ask him, but he's not. So the thing about it is, for me to say, this is the most amazing instrument I had in my hand in a long time. And what you do see when you do see me, you see me with Leo stuff in my hands. There's a lot of things that go in my hand, but when it comes down to grit and bells and whistles, and when it comes down to meat and potatoes, there you go. So we're gonna set her down. Leo didn't stop thinking at the P bass. he knew that players needed something else, maybe a little neck, a little smaller, a little bit more condensed with as far as body style, a little bit slimmer on the neck, a little bit slimmer on the body, and 2 pickups. I'm pretty sure he could have put 2 pickups in the P base and it probably been fine, but it would have been more thicker than what it was. And a lot of people be like, I don't like the way it looks. Down the road, I'm pretty sure people are like, okay, I'm beginning to like the way this looks now. Because I got a double P. I love double P. They sound great to me. One thing about in the old days about the fender bases is that you can, and I actually did that, no excuse. I actually forgot, I was on my way to a gig and forgot and set my bass in the back of my first car like this Oldsmobile behind. This is a 67 Cutlass convertible. My first car was a 67 hardtop. I set the bass on the back of the car, forgot, got in the car, backed over it with the case. Got out of the car, put it in the car, went to the gig and played the gig. That's God honest truth. All right, so this, look, you be like, what? He did, what did he just say? Let me rewind that back. All right, so here you go. Here's the Fender Jazz. Here's a 1978 Fender Jazz. All right, you can tell it's beginning to blue. In 78, not particularly 77, but 78, for some reason, the paint started going kind of bad. The black started turning like light blue to turquoise. Yeah, does it make it play any different? No. Cats be like, I don't like the way it looks. You shouldn't do that painting. I'm not painting this. Once you have a sound, you ain't painting. I ain't painting nothing. All right, so this is a 78 Jazz. With the 78 Jazz, you came with ashtrays. Underneath the ashtrays, you got a long pickup, this long. Instead of being short like the P bass, 2 of them, they put them in one. So it's one under this plate, one under that plate. All right. The ashtrays were pretty much a glorified covering. That's what I call it. A lot of people don't like ashtrays because they get in the way. You know, basically, they came on the bass. I want them back on the bass. All right. This one came with, instead of 2 knobs, control knobs, this one's got 3 because it's got 2 pickups. So it has the volume for the front, volume for the rear, and then it has the bass and treble for both of them. And you can tell it has a plate, and the body style looks completely different. It's a lot slimmer, a lot smaller, has a deeper heel, and normally in the 70s they came with 3 bolts back plate. On the 70s and the P bass they came with 4 bolts. Very rare they came with 3 bolts. All right, the neck is much slimmer, and personally you have a binder and you have blocks. Right? Some came with dots, clay dots, and some came with blocks. This one has blocks. This is the 78 Jazz, baby. I got everything turned low. Okay? Does it feel different? Absolutely. Does it play different? Absolutely. Look, it's much faster. I can do a lot more faster thing on this bass. And that's why the 78 Jazz became more popular with the jazz cats, because the neck was smaller. The weight wasn't much different. Actually, that P bass weighs a lot less than this 78. 77 a lot less weight, but that 78's got a tendency to be a little heavy, except for the P's. The P's are a little lighter. Okay, so then you know, Leo didn't stop there. He was like, okay, he sold the company. Everybody know he sold the company to CBS, right? The movie people. He sold it to them, I guess in the early 60s or something like that. But that didn't stop his thinking, which was, I'm glad, God, I'm so glad that you didn't stop Leo's thinking. So, in the early 70s, Leo came back again. All right, but this time he couldn't use the same kind of body style and definitely same kind of headstock. So he went another direction. He went to the Music Man. Look at the Music Man. Okay, this is a 78. All right, it's got a lot of check marks. It's got the 3 bolt in the back. He kept that. It came with radio knobs. it actually came out in 76. But in 78, it came out, 77, 76, it came out with the radio knobs. I put the radio knobs back on this one. You got a different kind of control plate. Still got the same concept as the Fender Jazz though. Except one thing, the pickup is different. He put the pickup in a different place, and he got a different bridge. With the bridge, you got mutes on the bridge. A lot of people used to take the mutes and put them on the Fender Jazz. They used to take a piece of foam and stick it underneath of it. Some of them took washcloths or whatever they had, t-shirts, rags, whatever, to make that thing mute more. On the 78, 76 76 Music Man, they came with mutes, and you can adjust them. You can see right here, you can adjust them up. Came with a different scratch plate. People call this a scratch plate. It's really a pick guard. Okay, well, you can call it what you want. Look, anytime you want to call it, it's yours. All right, it came with the same skunk stripe in the back. The Jazzes has skunk stripe, and some of the later P's have skunk stripes, but this came with a skunk stripe. That's his signature, I believe, right there, that skunk stripe. All right, so the pickup is much hotter, and it's bigger, and it's two of them instead of one. And not only that, it came with a battery, and it came with a preamp. Preamp is volume, treble, and bass. The first person I saw with one of these was Louis Johnson. He was the first person. Everybody can say what they want. He was the first person that actually introduced me to the Music Man bass. All right. After that, it was Rick James. You got to remember, I'm in the funk era. All right. I'm in the funk era. I don't see anything but what is put out in front of me. So what was put out in front of me, other than these two basses here in the 70s, would be this bass. Could I afford it? No, absolutely not. I had to wait for God to give it to me. And when he gave it to me was out there on the street of New York, on the ground. That's why I got my first Music Man. Sometimes you need to hear that story. Wow, amazing. All right, so the old Music Man has two guys that looks like the brothers Johnson. One turned one way with a guitar, that's George, and the other turned the other way with the other guitar, which is, his brother, Louis. And it's got Music Man Stingray across the front. Also, in 1979, he came out with the Sabre. I mean, the man is innovative. I don't have every bass he kind of came out with, because I don't have a G&L sitting over here anywhere. So, but this bass, we're gonna check the tuning, but this bass carries a whole lot more stank. One thing you have to remember is that I'm outside and the weather's steadily changing. It's raining and humidity is really bad out here. So the necks are moving. So you can already hear that you can hear something coming out of the amp. Okay, the head that I got up there is a transistor head. It's not a tube head, it's a transistor. I also have, if you look in the back of me, I have two radio towers. All right, and they right behind me. So you may hear a little noise. You hear the difference already? All right, that's treble, all treble. Now, let's put some bass in it. What makes this bass so important? To me, sound, Fender, the feel of the bass, the whole uniqueness of P and Jazz at the same time. The neck is not that thick. The neck is absolutely beautiful. This is all flamed. The whole attitude of the bass is if you look at it, it looks like a short scale. I love the bridge on it. I just love the whole attitude of the bass. But what got me more interested in the bass was the sound of the bass. It had a jazz kind of P kind of more innovative sound. And the feel was just unbelievable. But the power, the power was just unmistakable. I don't care what record you hear it on. I don't care where you were and what stage you was on. You ain't had to look on stage. You can hear this. You can hear that. You knew what it was immediately. You was like, okay, I heard a lot of basses before, but this one has a little bit more punch, a lot more clarity, a lot more distinction of tones. It's in its own route. Look, own route with its own zip code. So there you have it, folks. One man took three. How many did I say? Three? Took three glorified inventions. He made three glorified inventions out of one innovative thought. Shut the cock out, folks. Johnny Lee Long, and I'm not in the Hobo Depot. And thank you for watching my YouTube. And thank you for coming by, folks. Thanks for sharing. Please keep my family and the Hobo Depot in prayer. Love you guys with all my heart. Peace.